working with Honolinva or achieving Honolinva is not per se a healing experience or anything like that. It is ultimately true that as you begin practicing it, these things that have often been inverted geometrically or stuck for many years begin to become unstuck. Ultimately, a manifestation has three phases through which it becomes a physical manifestation. There are therefore three bodies on that level that work with this. You have, of course, the physical body itself, the physical body, which you could consider the gravity field. It has compressed everything into physical matter, in other words. It has taken vibration and put it into physical matter. And outside of that, right outside of that, you have the geometrical body. And outside of that body, you have the magnetic expression of the body. And it is through those three expressions that ultimately something, anything, whether it is an anxiety or a physical ailment or a manifestation on the body or a manifestation around the body, anything that is ultimately in your environment has traveled. First, magnetically expressed as a thought, which ultimately, as you know, magnetics is the closest child to the Da expression, which is love. Magnetics is ultimately a vibrational expression of love, and therefore this reality field, this earth, has a magnetic field, and so do your bodies, and so does every single cell of the body, etc. But as anything gets thought of or manifested, this will first become a magnetic frequency. Then, as it begins to solidify, it will move from a magnetic frequency into a geometrical pattern. In other words, the vibrational pattern of the manifestation, could even be a child about to be born, begins to take shape. And eventually, if the continued focus on the manifestation is there, even subconsciously, it will ultimately move from magnetic expression into geometric expression. In the best case scenario, that magnetic expression, it will be geometrically aligned with the active ingredients of San, much like you can see in the previous classes last year when the Pah San drew the geo-trinities in the Dalin expression. Or they can be inverted geometries where a simple triangle can be lengthened to become inverted. Or a good example of an inverted geometry that everybody will probably know about by now is the new logo for the new Facebook company, which is now called Meta, interestingly. But look at the infinity symbol that that company currently uses. If you look at it, you will notice that the center of the infinity is raised up, so that you get not this format, but sort of almost a square format. You can look up this logo. There you see an example of an inverted geometry. Now, those can be inverted thoughts that are not in line with the beingness that you are as San through love, joy, and freedom, etc. And that can become a gravity expression within the body or within the world around you. So as you work with the Honolinva exercise, or even the rivers of San, or any of these exercises, even something as simple as moving energy around, very early exercises, or vibrational resequencing, all of these things that we have shared with you over the years, but particularly poignant and potent for the Honolinva exercise is indeed the fact that all of these gravity wells that you have created, sometimes physically, sometimes mentally, sometimes emotionally, that depends on your savok of choice. Let's say everybody has a flavor of savok, don't they? Some like to go fully physical, some like to go mental, some like to go emotional, some like to mix and match, because you can get 3 for the price of 1 sometimes. We should put it on the Imzaia store. Get your Savok mix and match, or the Savok sale, end of year Savok sale. But anyway, so when people create reality in those ways, as people have a tendency to do it one way or another, then it is indeed the bare power, the raw power of the simplicity of the white space training exercise that will begin unblocking those particular entanglements in the system. And therefore it is incidentally sometimes considered a healing exercise, but we don't want to label it like that, because that is a side effect and not the actual goal of the exercise, which is achieving white space. So as it moves through your belly chakra, for you, Pah Ekara San, on the Vish or on the vast spiral, as it moved through in this way through the body system, here being the belly, then indeed it will have disentangled probably or untwisted some of the oldest parts of the, in your case, probably a mix between mental and emotional twisting up that has occurred in the very earliest phases of your current human expression, in the earliest phases of the lifetime, let's say. So that is a root principle of the personality that has been untangled. And then what often happens is that as this moves out of the gravity field and back into the field of geometry and eventually into the magnetic field. So in other words, as the disentangling of these things dissolve, then you will often have the expression coming through the body. So things might happen, all sorts of things might happen, weird situations that when then properly seen as what they are, namely not illnesses or chronic diseases or negative situations that may be occurring around you, but instead the result of you untangling, disentangling and liberating and moving into a state of freedom with all of these things, as that happens, yeah, and then there can be some side effects, but that of course is temporary and will only continue to release itself. So I wanted to add that, but now continue, please.
I'm going to continue with something that is related